This is Random Urban Memories, brought to you by The Rum Boys. You've seen, heard, or felt it on the streets. Well, we're here to talk about it.
In 3, 2, 1.
Yo, hello and welcome back everybody. Long-term hiatus, and guess what? We got the trio of power, the trifecta of excellence.
Tribeca. Do you know what Tribeca means actually?
What?
I know it now. After I visited New York. So it's the triangle below Canal Street. And Soho is south of Houston Street.
Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't know.
Street, yeah.
Houston,
Street,
yeah. Which was strange because like when you're sitting in like in the metro, you are like, I always thought it's like
it's
Houston
the three
Street.
zones though, isn't it? Yeah, it's the three
yeah.
zones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, go on.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, Shane.
So,
for interrupting you.
no, that's
for
fine.
people who went to New York, we just talk like this, you know.
That's all we talk about.
Yeah, it's like East Village, 24th Street, 7th Avenue, hot dogs, halal street food and stuff like that. That's what we do. Pretzels.
Well, what we will be covering and going on... actually, no, wait a minute. We need to actually acknowledge the fact that we have our social media manager on this podcast.
Yay, I'm
also,
here.
Finally.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a nice
I'll be
cruisy-
social media the ass out of this now.
We have handed over the keys to the kingdom now. Now expect actual information from us.
Information.
If you guys send it on to me, then I'll put it up there. You got to send it on to
All right,
me.
we'll send you absolute dumb shit, and then, and you just get to post dumb shit all day.
Yay! I'm delighted.
Yeah, so we are going to be. I have mentioned this in a short clip before that we're going to be doing a US special quite soon, because in 3 days and 4 days I am going to be flying off to Las Vegas for my honeymoon a year later. So I'm going to be collecting my musings.
Yeah, honeymooning.
You are married?
You'll be honeymooning.
Yeah. Where's your ring?
Just
By the way.
it's a good question.
Oh,
Yeah. So, how you've been before?
I've been to America quite a lot. New York would have been a huge city for me to visit. But I've been all over the coastal areas of New York. I've been all over. It's completely different to Maine and Boston. It's completely different to New York, and then down to Florida, and all up the East Coast, LA, which is completely crazy, where you have to visit as well. But yeah, very, very weird, different kind of country to visit. From east to west, you know, it's very, very different. New York would probably be my favourite city in the whole world. You know, I love New York City.
Yeah.
So where did we stop?
What about your experiences in New York?
Yeah, so I like, because I went to Boston and then I went to New York for 1 week in Boston, 1 week in New York. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that I noticed, well, not the first thing, but the main thing that I noticed was that in Boston, like pedestrians actually stop at the lights. Traffic lights. In New York, nobody cares at all. So like I had like 3 times that I went through the zebra, and like in the middle of me walking, there was just a car going against me. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like I'm going to die. Because like in New York, like everybody just keeps walking, and you don't realize like you don't have time to look through like at the lights, so you just keep going and going and going. But otherwise, yeah, I liked New York actually. What
part of New York did you stay in?
So I stayed in Jersey, but mainly the time I spent was Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Usually, I went to Brooklyn twice. To Brooklyn for pizza.
Yeah, I've been to Brooklyn.
Pizza, the Farah, and Coney Island. Which I was super surprised by Coney Island actually. Mm-hmm. I really liked it because.
Is it exactly what you expected?
No, not at all. I thought it will be like. Like East Coast, you always kind of like have the idea it's like, oh, it's gonna be dirty and it won't be like as pretty as you think that it should be. But like when I was there, I'm like, this looks like freaking Barcelona picture or something. Like, it was really nice, and it was just me, and it was like nice, super like nice sunny day. just walking through, like some guys, like old Italians, just like sunbathing there, and like, hey Johnny, bring me beers. You know, it's just like really. I'm like, then that's when you realize that, I mean, in New York actually, you know, when you see something like this, but it's, you know, it's pretty good. I liked it a lot.
For me, New York would have been a lot of, I don't know if you know that I worked on the QE2 cruise ship for 9 years, so a lot of our transatlantics were to New York. The sailing always got me sailing, and because you'd be sailing past, you'd be so high up that you'd be sailing past the Statue of Liberty's face would be just there, you know, cool, so close to you. And the sailing to New York was amazing. And the city itself, unbelievable. I always felt like I was stepping off into a John Hughes movie every time I went ashore, and I just felt like I was in a movie of all the movies that were made in New York. Even going to Times Square, so we used to dock in 49th and 12th beside the Intrepid, which is I don't know, naval ship or something that's like a museum now down there.
I missed that actually.
Yeah, and so we'd be next door to it, so you just walk up, and then you're kind of in the really kind of low area of New York, like 11th, 12th sort of avenue and stuff, and you're down in this, it's all like gay clubs down there, and it's clubs 24/7, and you're into the diners, and you've got the real American waitresses, hey, what do you want? You know, like shouting at the taxi drivers.
Giving out to you.
Yeah, shouting at the taxi drivers, throwing you your food. Really proper New York sort of attitude, and I loved it. Really, really loved it.
This is the thing that I probably missed, because like when I was in New York, I didn't have this experience by anybody being like really rude to me.
Yeah.
I thought like I found like some people in Boston were a bit more like rude, a bit more ruder than in New York, because in New York like everybody was like, hey, thank you sir, how are you sir, and like all of this. I'm like, where is this coming from? You know, so we were just kind of like wondering all the time.
What blew my mind about New York was how this is conditioning from having seen films all of our lives.
Yeah.
How familiar the city already felt, even though it's overwhelming because it's not that normal that you spend that much time around so many high-rise buildings or whatever. But it felt way more familiar than it should have been, if you know what I mean. Because you're walking through Times Square and you're like, wow, it actually feels like I've been here before, because I know exactly what Times Square looks like. Never mind normal pictures or whatever. That's what blew me.
Like there's no real like strange feeling to it. You're like just like all you think about is like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all, and then you're just taking pictures.
That's
and
what
it's like,
blew my mind.
I've been here.
How familiar it could be.
Exactly. See, for me, what I wanted to go to all the places that I've ever wanted to go in New York. So every New York I go off, I get into a taxi and I go, okay, you got to take me to the Dakota Building. And he'd be like, where? And I said, I'm like going, where John Lennon was shot. And he was like, okay, no problem. So he took me to the Dakota Building and then Times Square. And then off to Central Park. Do you know, so off to the places that I've always wanted to visit. Do you know, Tiffany's and all the big shopping stores and stuff like that. And that's how I got to know New York. So after a while, I didn't take taxis, so I walked around a lot of it. You have to walk around it to get to know the city. It's very blocky anyway, you know, in Manhattan, you know. But I had a really great experience in Brooklyn once. I went ashore once with a girl who was buying a wedding dress off the rack in Neiman's, a real famous bridal shop in Brooklyn, and it was pretty scary going down there, because we got over there, and I did feel a bit kind of uneasy about it, but at the same time it was a really enjoyable experience to say that I was there. And Brooklyn we went and we got food there and everything, and it was I found it really cool to go and visit.
I felt, to be honest, a bit like, at least the area where, you know, Katz Deli. I felt that area was a bit more dodgier than Brooklyn, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I was like walking there, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be here, you know. And then I got to Chinatown, and then Little Italy, and then you kind of like feel a bit different vibe there, because it's a bit more touristy. But otherwise, like the Katz Deli, I was like, maybe this is kind of like dodgy, you know. But in Brooklyn, like when I was in the Fire, in the pizzeria, I felt also kind of like not super safe, and there was like actually a robbery like next to while I was waiting for the pizza, some kids just got into like a grocery store, and all you saw is like 4 kids just running out.
Whoa.
And it's like two Asian guys running after them.
I'd also mention for myself, I mean, I was in New York quite a lot, like pre kind of 9/11 as well. So I think the city had been, it was very different before all that happened to post it, do you know what I mean? Because it was just a completely very different city to go back to after all that happened. But you could see the whole citizens of New York, the people that live there and the people that live in the suburbs and all, really came together as a community, I think, more so, do you know. And in all the areas that would be outside New York City, you know, like the Bronx and you know, all those areas, they were very more community based and more kind of getting to know each other.
They were more separate.
They were very separate, They were very, very separate, and I think they came together. I think after that, after 9/11 and after all that happened, you know.
But apparently Brooklyn has become very gentrified in the last while. Like people
it's very hipsterish.
It's actually changing now to.
The place to be.
Yeah, the place.
Exactly.
Like Kreuzberg in Berlin.
In
Berlin.
Exactly,
because
the people that live there, I always had lived there, are getting priced out of it now. You know.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So apparently they're coming in, and rents are starting to get so high, whatever, and then these hipster dudes are able to pay for it. You know, so and it's slowly turning into a chic place to be rather than.
It's just expanding all the time, I think. It's
one thing actually came to fruition for me because I was there, and I always wanted to buy a CD from like a wannabe rapper.
Really?
Times Square, and I'm walking around. I was shopping, and I had like probably like 10 or $4 in my pocket. And I knew that if someone stops me, because I knew that someone is going to ask me for money. There two black guys walk over to me and they're like, "Yo, man, where you from?" and I'm like, Slovakia. And they're like, "Yo, Slovakia is where all the gangsters live." So like they start to get you into the mood of I want to buy a hip hop, like a rap CD. So one of them hands me his CD. He's like, "Listen, I want to get famous. So like listen to my CD. Try to give it to your friends and stuff like that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great." Another guy comes over. He hands me his, and they're like, "So we're working on like a system of donations." And I'm like, "Okay." So like I start to get the point of it, and they start to go back and forth with me, and they're like, "So would you give us some money?" And I hand them over my $4. And I start to walk away, and then he starts to count, and he's like, "Hang on, that's just $4. Like we need like 10s or 20s." And I'm like, 10s or 20s? Like, do you guys have like a special rate? And they're like, "Yeah, like if you give us 20, we split it between two of us." And he picks like a roll of money from his pocket. It must be like $300, like 10s and 20s. And I'm like, "Listen, I don't have any more, like I don't have anything more. Okay. So you either take this or like just keep your CDs." And he's like, "So we are going to keep the CDs, but we are also going to take the money." And I'm like, "What?" And this is when I start to be like, "But then I'm not going to get like," and I start to act stupid. I'm like, "But then I'm not going to get anything out of this deal, guys." And then we just go back and forth for like 2 minutes, and one of them is so mixed up that he's like, "Do you know what? Just take this CD." Just walking through the town with like a CD in my back pocket, and then I met my friend, and I'm like, "I got you a good music finally for your car. There you go."
And was it good?
No, I didn't listen to it. We just left it somewhere in a bar. Yeah, because we went to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. Like it was really funny. And then next to the bar next to it, and then we just got drunk, and I kind of like left it there.
What about your experience, Shane, of America? I mean, have you only been to Vegas, or have you been to New York?
No, we went to New York, and then we went to Vegas as part of a kind of a package deal or whatever. So we didn't do enough in New York, but we did do some shopping and all that kind of stuff. Went to Century 21. I ended up getting a raffle.
Say it out loud, girl.
Toad's fab.
I was having a meltdown there for a second when you said it.
Oh, it was amazing. Like got a $600-700 suit for like $200.
Nice. Did you go to Macy's?
Yeah, we walked through Macy's and all that kind of stuff.
I like Macy's more than C21 for some reason. It's more organized.
Yeah, it's just more, and it's huge. Like it's what, 5 buildings? Like it's a block. It's not a building.
Yeah,
it's,
like the Macy's, big
it's
Macy's.
just a block of buildings that is one Macy's.
Huge.
Well, one thing that stuck with me in New York was again this like everything goes. What we were, we must have come onto the scene. It must have happened only a few seconds ago because we turned a corner, and at a crossing there was a cyclist picking up bits of burrito or something like that. So he must have been clipped by a car, or something pretty dodgy or whatever. And they were going fast, you've seen it. But there was so this guy is picking himself up and probably in shock that he's still picking up bits of food from the middle of the road, But there's a guy giving running commentary instead of going and helping or whatever. He's like, "Hey, y'all, did y'all see that? Hey, man, my mans was driving, son, and they clipped him real fast, man. And he flew over here." And then he was running back and forward and pointing out the situation, He was like,
what an accident.
and then, yeah, my mans, man, he be falling all over, man. He got bike and broken shit, son. Man, did y'all see that? And I'm just there going, what the fuck is going? And the guy, the poor cyclist, still has like burrito shit on him coming off the side of the road. And he goes, "Oh, man, that shit was crazy, son." I was like, a really bizarre situation, There's just food everywhere. Car drove off, and this guy just running commentary while this guy lucky to be alive. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So bizarre, but nobody looked. Like nobody batted an eyelid. Nobody
Nobody cares.
It was just like, nah, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm busy. I gotta go. Oh, that was so funny, man. It was just a complete.
No, I was in Central Park. I posted it on Facebook, so I was like cycling around
weird.
Central Park. And then I cycled down like one of the kind of slopes or whatever, and there's a guy who is he's cycling on like a BMX bike, and he jumps on the saddle and stands on the saddle, and just kind of like puts his his arms like he would be Jesus, and he just goes down the hill while I'm just trying to like not to get killed myself. He's just like literally standing on the bike, and he's just like rocking to like music or whatever, and then he jumps off like nothing happened. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what the heck?
Random.
Yeah.
Random.
But Central Park was actually really nice.
Yeah.
The nice thing about New York, I always found, was you could just walk into any situation or any scenario. I mean, I walked around Central Park. I accidentally walked into Drew Carey getting filming an advert down there. Like they do a lot of filming down there.
Yeah.
But I actually walked onto the set thinking I was just walking straight through Central Park, like, and they were like, "Get out of here! What are you doing? Get off the set!" I'm like, it was really weird. There was some sort of, I don't know what kind of advert they were doing, but it was something in Central Park anyway. And I was coming down the bridge part of it and just walking down, and you're going under the bridge, walking under it. I was just walking. Nobody stopped me, like, or nobody told me anything. I was just like, like, carry on. And next thing, all these shouting. I was like, "Is that for me? Sorry." I ran, like, So there's so many things going on, and then like you've got the likes of the Naked Cowboy up in Times Square, and actually. There's a statue of a guy who, I think he was one of the founders of Broadway, and he stands with his hands just out like this. I looked after his wife on the ship, but she was like in her 90s at the time. And she told me loads of stories about he was one of the founding members of all the theatres in New York where all the plays and stuff stuff like that goes on, and Broadway's massive there. Like there's so much going on there, plays wise, and
like people actually go to shows.
They do.
I didn't think that it will be so busy, but
it
was
is.
like Thursday or something like that, and I was just
always
walking
something.
through.
Always something.
It's a huge industry there. It's huge, like.
Well, that's what we're going to do in Vegas now. We're actually going to, like, we're there for 5 nights. We're actually going to do 5 different events or whatever. Like, we're going to go Cirque du Soleil, Michael Jackson version. We're going to go see Penn and Teller.
Oh, yeah.
Get a magic show, the Vegas show or whatever. That's just something we didn't do the last time. Plus, we ran out of cash in as well because it was, like, quite unplanned. Like, no, sorry, it was badly planned. Not quite unplanned, it was badly planned. And it's just we didn't realise that the shopping was so good there, for example. So we didn't have enough spare for shopping, that kind of stuff.
Like weight-wise.
Cash-wise.
No, cash-wise.
Oh, cash-wise,
because like I underestimated it, you know what I mean? Because I was like, cool, I'll bring a couple of $100 there, whatever, for shopping. We're not expecting to go shopping. Then we saw the prices, because it was like...
Then you just go crazy.
And then, like, it was Labor Day sales, and it was just like the percent sign, had a percent sign, had a percent sign, had a percent sign stuck on it, yeah? So we're talking about, like, the shirts that I wear. Like, doesn't matter where you go in Europe, average price, €40. Okay. End of story. Dickies work shirts, €40, whether it's in pounds or whatever. Over there, it was $7
or
$9.
God.
Add $3 in tax, if even.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So then we couldn't shop at the volume, or like finding a Ralph Lauren suit for it's $200 instead of $700. You know what I mean? I was like, shit, I completely underestimated.
Yeah, Ralph Lauren was like really, really cheap. Like when you found the discounts there.
Yeah.
Which I was happy about.
So this time we're going fully prepared, fully
empty suitcases and everything.
Exactly. So
I'm going in my underwear.
So that's definitely gonna be done.
And you're gonna go to a shooting range as well, are you?
Yeah, we're gonna go do the SWAT package. So we'll be doing sniper rifles.
Going to kill someone.
MP5s. Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Shooting. I think it's like
$5,000 for like someone.
To what? To
whack
someone. I get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. So all bits and pieces. Oh, and another thing, you know those food shows like Guy Fieri, Man vs. Food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And you know those ridiculous shows, and every time you get those diners.
Yeah.
We're gonna eat nothing but shit for the 5 days.
I love it.
Nothing but shit. Like the 15 kilos of pancakes with bacon and bacon with bacon wrapped in bacon and bacon.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're going to be eating for breakfast. Yeah. And then we're going to find the nicest rib places, chicken wing places. There will not be a piece of salad had for the 5 days that we're there. We're going to eat at every known, or like that we saw in a TV show, diner or restaurant that we can find.
Yeah,
you know?
That'd be pretty awesome. Stay away from the chains though. Try and go kind of
local.
We're
going absolutely. Like
we're going to go to Arby's and all that kind of
diners.
Wendy's and
yeah. So then we walked past the Hooters as well. You know, we're like, oh cool, let's go to Hooters. Oh shit,
Hooters is crap.
That was really shit. It was just like
Hooters
it's just
crap.
another place that was really full.
Yeah. I had Wendy's, but I wasn't like. It wasn't.
Arby's is good.
It wasn't that bad as I thought. Thought that it will be, but it was pretty okay. Shake Shack is supposed to be really good, because that's now in New York also, but I didn't make it there. Burgers.
Nice.
Yeah, go and enjoy. Isn't there that Heart Attack burger place in Vegas? Isn't there? Where like the burgers are like you're talking gigantic burgers to give you a heart attack. Do you know?
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
We're already getting hungry.
And the waitresses are all dressed up in like skinny lycra, and they're all like coming out with, you know, like the doctors and stuff, like that you are going to have a heart attack after you eat the amount of meat. Yeah. Check that out. Yeah, it's in. I'm not sure it's in Vegas, but check it out somewhere.
Okay, definitely.
It's called. I think it's like the Heart Attack Cafe or something. It's called.
Yeah, I think I heard of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some meat sweats there.
Yeah.
Gonna get my meat.
Well, you're gonna have such a great time.
Yeah, no, we'll make. Well, it's kind of first of all, it's our honeymoon, and second of all, we're gonna do it like we did as if you're 20, like have a complete blowout. You know?
Nothing like going on a honeymoon with a SWAT package involved.
Yeah, we just want to really fully enjoy the time we're there. Not worry about nothing, cash, times, or work, or whatever. It's just go there, get drunk, have dinner at 3 a.m. You know, whatever it is, gambling at whatever time. That's what we'll do. You know, so
all out.
Good fun. So how did you guys survive the Irish... Speaking of American phenomena, the Irish hurricane, Ophelia.
Yeah, well, I suppose working in Connemara, I think I was very afraid. But it was fine. It was okay. It was like a pretty windy day out there. Nothing really bad, but then like 2:30 in the afternoon, it really hit. It kicked off big time out there. while I was in my car trying to bring my staff home at that time, and I was like holding on with white knuckles onto the steering wheel trying to kind of keep the car on the road. But once I got home, it was fine. But I think that it wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. Really, Salt Hill got really bad. I think. Anyway.
Yeah. That's a crazy thing. Like it didn't seem any worse. Do you remember the time when we had like 8 storms in 3.5 hours?
Yeah.
Like that was consistently for a week the country being battered. But here it was intense, but nothing we haven't seen before. But like you said, only a couple of 100 meters from the studio. I mean, there's
Which one?
Go with Bay FM.
I've got soundproofing up. This is a studio. I don't care what you call it. And toys.
Anybody can call their room a studio then.
And kids' toys. But a couple of 100 meters away, roofs were blowing off and shit. You know.
Yeah.
So
But there was a footage in the news that there was a roof like going through like an estate.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I kind of have to say about the whole kind of the way the government and all these organisations dealt with notifying us. I suppose they did. You know, the damage could have been a lot worse. It is still down in Cork and Kerry.
Well, it was
those
bad
areas.
there. Yeah.
Like they got the really, really bad brunt of it. Like, do you know?
I know there's always the Irish humour take on all of that, because as soon as the warnings came out, people were taking the piss. You know, Ophelia, we will always remember, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a garden chair just tipped over or whatever. But better safe than sorry, because they really, really were. They had crisis meetings. They were ready to deploy. Yeah. Whatever, sandbags, all that kind of thing. I think they did the right job by... Yeah. It seemed a little bit at
Well, they
first,
did do the right thing, I think.
But, I mean, the floodings, they didn't do enough.
Do you know how it looked like to me? Like, when they were doing, like, all of these emergency meetings, it looked like a drill for me. You know, when they're like, also, so we have all of this documented on like a paper, and now we have a situation where it might actually turn out really, really bad. Yeah. So why don't we just try to do like a real kind of like real time drill with people and just say, okay, well, we're just going to go crazy and we'll just set the whole country on like code red and say, oh yeah, you know, people are going to like die and stuff like that, you know. So it just seemed that way, that it's like just to try it for once.
Well,
I
don't think they ever had to be in such a state of readiness. I don't think so.
I mean, like the last really bad storm was like 1956 or something.
Something like that.
But I don't think it would have been classed as a hurricane, though. It was like a really, really bad storm, because in some places they measured 190 km/h, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's shit you usually get in Florida or whatever.
Well, the one thing negative I will say about it is that up a couple of months ago, up in the northwest of Donegal, there was really heavy flooding and stuff. The rainfall and everything was very heavy, and nothing was done about it. Do you know, the people that were living up there their houses were flooded. They couldn't get their house insurance.
There's no relief.
There was no relief for them, and nothing was done to give them any aid. Do you know, and they had to do some fundraising and stuff for them, and I found that very upsetting. Do you know what I mean? Not just because it's Donegal, because I'm from there, but any part of the country. Do you know, the heavy flooding, and then all of a sudden now they're talking about this hurricane and everybody's on high alert. Like, they knew that the rainfall was coming. They knew that the forecasters, they could have pushed it a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
but
mean?
It was the same thing like 2 or 3 years ago with Roscommon, no?
Yeah, this
like
that
was
of course,
really bad
where
flooding.
Leisureland got very badly damaged. Yeah.
But they were definitely not talking about the warnings as much. They said, okay, stay inside, it's going to be very windy. But nobody talked about, like, okay, actually, it's worse than you think. Here is sandbags, or here is where you can pick up sandbags. They were even talking about where to pick up sandbags and stuff like that this time around. Yeah. So they shot themselves in the foot last time. They didn't even want it to get to that. Yeah. Rightfully so. But look at what it took for them to get up off their ass and take something serious.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And then I called home to see if Brian did he come as well, Hurricane Brian, and it apparently just stayed out in the Atlantic Ocean. A lot of it stayed out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, my wife said it was really windy, but I slept through it. And then last night there was a second phase of it. Like the wind actually woke me up. It was just super windy for a block. And that was it. Like not. But then you're kind of used to it here as well, because the west coast of Ireland gets battered like fuck all the time with everything. But climate change deniers are not to be coming up now and saying, yeah, well, this is all part of Earth warming up or whatever naturally. This is not natural. This is absolutely not natural. We had a hurricane in Ireland. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And if you actually think of how the last year has been, like, I remember I was outside having a coffee in my shorts because it was 14 degrees on the 24th or 25th of December last year. So if you think about it statistically, the mean temperature, because it wasn't that hot of a summer, but nor was it cold of a winter at all. But if you take the average, I'd say you'd come in at around 14 degrees consistently since last August, or June, July even. December was drier than June, July, August last year put together, yeah? Because there's basically no rain, even going into January. Do you remember that? And then the rain was, the summer was a pissed up summer anyway. And now, if you look at it, there were nights here where it was 15, 16 degrees at night and 12, 13 during the day. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's completely weird weather patterns going on, but more intensely over the last 2 years.
The nights are actually getting like really, really warm actually. When you say it now,
the nights.
Just I'm just thinking about it. Like,
it's weirdly warm.
But you have to understand, women are still cold, and we just don't like the guys opening the windows at night and leaving them open because they're too hot. So I just have to interject there. Sorry.
But that's that fresh air thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's a man thing. What the hell with you guys?
As soon as you realise that the window was closed and you're a little bit warm, and you go, "There's no fresh oxygen in here." Shit! Kick the window out. You know, that was that time in Australia though, when I went over, and we went in February. I have never felt such intense heat for so long. It was insane. Like, it was getting up to 42, 44 degrees. But at night time, like, we just had a fan in the room, and all it did was blow the heat at you. But you're really not sure whether you should open the window. First of all, you need oxygen. But it's warmer outside than it is inside. It was, wow, that was intense. That was really, really, that was really,
a lot.
Wow,
I was when I was in Slovakia, like the last time over summer 2000, I think it was 2014, and also like we spent there like 7 days, but it was so freaking warm that you literally slept maybe like 2 or 3 hours and overnight, because like you couldn't fall asleep. So you can't fall asleep or like up until 3 in the morning, and then 6 a.m. hits, and then you are again up because it's so warm, and it's just like taking like so much energy out of you that you are just constantly like so tired. So you're drinking like double the amount of coffee, and like you're literally like struggling like with the whole warmth. And then people just get like really aggressive, like when they're driving and stuff like that. And I understand it. It must be because of the freaking heat, you know. So it's just crazy.
Global warming's happening, though. It's happening,
It is,
which is a shame. But we're doing it to ourselves at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Well, future generations, like, but then again, there's so much intense stuff happening right now. Like, huge, vast ice shelves are breaking off that has not been recorded before. You know, and it's all. I think it's exponential as well. It's not just like, it's a constant heating. I think the effects are kind of, build on top of each other. So if a huge ice shelf goes down, it drops temperature, then it causes something else, but that causes an even bigger spike in something else, and then causes more storms.
But it might be that just the planet is just getting overheated. It might not be, because there were times, like there were periods in the history where it was just much warmer. Then it was just much colder for like decade or whatever. So it might not be. Yes, I know that we are adding to it, but it might be also kind of like a natural kind of like thing for the planet to be overheating itself and then kind of like cooling down.
Yes and no. As in, we are not going through a planetary phase of heating or cooling or any. Excuse me, that sounds wrong. We are not in a particular phase of where we are about to come into like a mini ice age or coming out of one or whatever. So it's fairly. We're in a fairly stable. If without the pollution, it would have been in the.
But how do you know? How do you know that?
Well, because if you look at the statistics, and really, really interesting, you see, only when you see the human stuff, you see an abnormal rise, like a really abnormal spike. Yes, there is like a really quick freezes and all that kind of stuff, but those are tens of thousands of years apart. but there's no other indicators that is causing this weather to happen, even on a natural climate cycle or something like that. So it's just all of a sudden temperature rises are unbelievable, and the correlation is only with the spike in human activity.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Why can't the governments of the world and everybody kind of really take this on board, that what's happening to us?
They don't.
Why can't I know in Ireland where there's like the climate change and trying to maybe get electricity from the wind mills or whatever, the wind turbines and stuff like that, and trying to look at different alternative sort of ways of heating your house and giving your electricity and more natural ways of doing it. I just don't understand why these big countries like China and even in America, that they
China,
it's all to do with agriculture. At the end of the day, we're over farming our land, and it's just a big knock-on effect of everything.
Well, China is making an absolutely phenomenal progress, but whatever, because they said, all right, if the US is going to step out of the climate accord or whatever, we'll beat them in that instead. And they are building an insane amount of solar farms, coming out with better solar panel technology, wind turbine. Like they've gone really big on it. But to get back to your point, the problem is it's not immediately profitable. That's the issue. Because coal right now, or fossil fuels as we are now, it's no change in the status quo. We rely on it, we will use it, and that's not going to change until something else comes in. But for the governments, you have to think of lobbyists behind the governments as well. So unless it has an immediate effect, if we could switch off the pollution now and all of a sudden have clean nuclear fusion power, then everything will be fine. But that's not going to happen. So they're kind of like, well, fuck it, I won't be around when shit hits the fan.
I also kind of think why don't they think a bit more long run? Like, don't they do because everybody's saying, okay, well, at one point we will use all of the oil.
Yeah.
And that will be it.
That'll be it.
So why do we keep using all of these huge ships to move stuff around globe, which is using millions of gallons of oil just on one trip? So and nobody really kind of thinks
cares.
about, or can we not just not find a solution which would be better for us? And it I don't think that it kind of helps in the yes, you will get stuff faster because it's you are kind of trying to make your supply chain efficient. But on the other hand, why don't we just start to kind of think about a different way how to get it as fast, but not use the amount of oil,
Yeah.
And no, it's it doesn't seem that there is too much.
Do you know what? You're thinking of this kind of futurism kind of thinking. I don't know, the first thing that popped into my head was Elon Musk's Hyperloop One.
Yeah.
So say, for example, you did step into the future a little bit now and build a giant underground, under-ocean transport system between the continents or whatever. Don't ask me how, but, this should be part of futurist thinking. And just have a back and forth system, and imagine, how long does a cargo ship take? 3-4 weeks to come across the ocean, maybe? Imagine having a system and it only takes 10 hours or something like that. Just shoot it across in a vacuum, huge containers, whatever it is you need, zip, 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 back and forward, and it's all run by wave technology that goes over the...
But I mean, even if it would take the same amount, but don't use the amount of oil,
anything.
Or just find a different source of.
Have you ever seen a cargo container ship? Have you seen the colossal size
People
of these
don't
things?
understand how big these things actually
Yeah, I've
are.
actually seen containers fall into the sea.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
on bad transatlantic crossings. I've actually seen containers fall into the sea. Do you know? And these things are bopping around. They're just,
But they're cities. They're
huge.
Massive things. Yeah, what they burn a couple of tens of thousands per minute? Gallons, litres, whatever.
But the stuff we have, we wouldn't get if we didn't have container
That's
ships.
true, you don't
coming
think
into-
of it that way.
Do you know what I mean? The things we have, the clothes we wear, the things we,
That's true.
the cars we have, all that. We wouldn't have that stuff if it wasn't for the likes of container ships going back and
you
forth.
can get because we were talking about this in college. So Zara, they have created the system that basically every night they let the Chinese manufacturers know of how many products they need because they are counting all of the stuff from shelves, so they can get the same amount. Like if it's still within the season of like that, for example, like the jacket, you can still get it within like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
From the point when you are running out of stock already.
Yeah.
So it's like usually if you would do it the traditional way, you would miss the season because it would take you way too much.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're only producing the amount that they need, so they're not overproducing either.
Yeah, yeah.
So they send the information, they get all of this done, boom, ships out. Now the other thing is what Zara has been accused in many cases is like that they are at these like fashion shows. They see they're sitting there next to the catwalk. They take pictures. They send those pictures to the designers. Designers set it up very quickly within like 1-2 days of like similar patterns, similar cuts. Send it on to China, and then ship it back to Zara within like 2 weeks after it was shown on the fashion week, whatever. So it's like they're so fast with this that it's just crazy fast. And then without all of these ships, like you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So then you are like, I think that the problem is like everybody kind of like expects everything fast.
Yeah.
But like if you would just move everything a bit later, like that everybody would understand. Okay, well, we are not going to get it as fast, but we'll be just moving it, and we'll make something good for us.
But that all has a knock-on effect down to you as the consumer. You want something within 24 hours, and you know what I mean. So it has a huge knock-on effect at the end of the day. Like Shane with his lovely Dickies shirts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm buying them straight away.
Yeah, no, I think that that e-commerce is actually pushing the idea of like people really like wanting something really, really fast, even though they never thought that they would get it so fast. So let's say if you are going, and I work in e-commerce, so like I might be talking against myself, but like if you are the customer and then let's say you are thinking about buying a sofa, you wouldn't go to the shop right away sometimes, but you would kind of like wait for it or like go to the shop, make a research. It would take you a couple of days. But online, you just go find the sofa, you order it, and then once you order, you really want this. I really want this stuff to be delivered, which is fine. Like everybody, like if you paid for it, then you should get it as promised. Yeah. But I think it also in many cases kind of like creates that kind of like artificial like expectation of like, oh well, now you promise, so you have to deliver this.
I mean, you're absolutely right. That's a very good point. The whole thing, like before, you used to go around, shop around, have a look. It wasn't. You're not going to die if you don't get that sofa for fuck's sake, or our mixer or whatever. Like you shop around, you have a look around, but as soon as it's online, it'll be here in 2 days, 3 days. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I need it. I actually want it now because I know I can have it now. I don't need to shop around anymore. I can have this as quickly as possible. Even though it needs to be a wise decision, or it's a big decision, a sofa, bed,
of course. But it depends too on your location. If you're living in the wilds of Connemara to Shane living here and going across to easy living across the road and picking the sofa out there, and they'll you'll still have to wait for the delivery to come anyway. Do you know what I mean? So that you have there's still the options there. Just online, it's very difficult to change it back. While in a store, you have choice. You have more choice. You're able to. It's tangible in a store.
Exactly. That's
there's tangible. There's tangibility there. Compared to an intangible thing that you're looking at the internet and waiting for it to come, and you just can't wait for it.
You're just giving me marketing flashbacks here.
Yeah.
In college.
It's so strange because, like, for example, like for me buying furniture, and again buying furniture is like buying a pair of jeans. I wouldn't buy a pair of jeans online because I'm sure that even if I go to like different stores in one day, I sometimes don't find any pair that fits, even though they're all the same size on the label. Everything should be the same, but it just doesn't fit. Or like you touch it and it's the fabric is not the same.
Something.
So like imagine buying a sofa which is, for example, made to order. You order it thinking that this fabric should feel like, I don't know, like really nicely, and then it comes in and suddenly like the feel that you wouldn't be like, I cannot lie on this like naked, or like not naked, but like. Which we all do, you know, like you are buying a sofa for yourself.
Porn couch.
Not naked, but you know, let's say you have like your shorts on and you are just like
couch. Do what
chilling
you want.
in like Irish.
Just remind us never to sit on your couch
Irish,
when we come to visit
Irish,
your house.
It's Irish.
I never sit on your couch.
Irish.
Butt rubbing all over.
Do a little bit here, do a little bit there.
You'll be like,
but I love how
don't sit there.
But I just love how natural that came out. It's kind of like, give it away when you're sitting on the couch naked and
but
shit.
you know, like, so let's say I always have
We're
these
not
like
judging you, by the way.
in Slovakia, like over the summer, you usually like hang around at home like in shorts, and then if you lie on a couch, and you are lying on a couch, and you are like, oh my god, like this fabric is like really sticky or something, you know, and it's really
It used to be, but
you know, you will be like. I cannot say
I'm
anything.
sorry.
What did you say actually?
What kind of couch are you actually sitting on?
you said, this couch is sticky. I said,
latex.
well, it wasn't before.
It wasn't when I bought it. When you sit on like a leather couch.
I hate that though. In the summer, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no, but I get what you're saying. If you got shorts on or something like that, and it's a sweaty ass day or something like that, and you got swamp ass or whatever, and it's just like. But I take your point. For something such a big investment, I honestly wouldn't do it. Maybe I don't know. I just unless I see a particular product and then I see it online and I know it's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I made to order something, I'd be like.
Even like, are people ordering like cars online? Like you can order a car, or like when you go to
you can
like,
make to order. They finish it and you pick it up.
When you go to the dealer and you are like, oh, so I'm going to pick up this and this, but you don't actually know how it will look like in reality because like what size of like alloys are you going to pick? How will the color look like because like if they show you like a sample of it. Yeah, that's fine, but I'm not going to see the whole car, how it looks, you know? So, it's very difficult sometimes just to kind of like decide like on these things. Yeah.
Do you know what? It won't be... At some stage, we must do another future episode, by the way. Again, there's so much happening. But it won't be long, and I'm talking medium to long... No, short to medium term, like maybe 5 to 10 years. That where you'll put on the virtual reality glasses... You'll get gloves, tactile feedback, and then maybe even some kind of neural interface where it just gives you signals to stimulate parts of your brain, and then you'll be able to see, hear, and feel everything online. That time will come. Yeah. That'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I am the future.
Now I wonder, like, how would they make it? But it would be perfect, you know, for like especially like online shopping experience.
Imagine, yeah. Well, maybe someday that'll become the normal shit, you know. But
it usually starts with like porn, and then they move to something else.
You know what? But you know what? Porn is actually the innovator of so many things.
Like
it's
what?
Like the internet. Oh my god! Online payment systems. They're a big.
What?
Dude! Like if
you're all in porn, or into porn, like
no, it's unbelievable. Like the spread. Like one of the first large-scale uses of the internet was the spread of pornography, and that pushed server performance and all that kind of stuff. Because no matter what people think on the surface, they're dirty bastards at home. Let's not forget this.
They lie on couches naked.
I love and in
watching their porn.
Exactly. You
Jump
know,
to the couch.
that's why the statistics from Pornhub are always so interesting. Like the most Bible Belt religious states in America, let's just segue back into a nice neat circle. They have some of the dirtiest shit. Like, so they're really fucked up statistics. So you always have this outer image of we're clean living and good or whatever, but you're filthy motherfuckers in the background.
Their online status.
Exactly. So it's all a facade. But the internet or the porn is quite an innovator in
It's crazy.
How we
in
buy
technology.
things.
How we buy things. It's
Couches.
like you watch porn and then you're like, Jesus, that's a nice couch.
Yeah, because you get the ads pop up obviously on the side of the screen.
If you like this couch, go to this like thing.
That's an idea.
Yeah, see?
You could segue then into that. Like then you can just simply
It's like
turn
product
around.
placement.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Just a
God,
brilliant
it's
idea,
genius.
actually. Like
So
you
the
do this
people will be looking into-
in music videos, you can do this in like movies.
Yeah, you're
so
kinda
why
like-
not do it in
That
porn?
is a beautiful vase. I will. when someone is just getting the knob slapped all over the place or whatever, and you're just there going, "That is a beautiful vase. I must have that." You know.
I like
just
that
click on the
couch.
link.
I like that bed.
And apparently some girl calls whatever is in my area and wants to see me. You know what? The dumbest shit that I've ever seen on, I don't know, someone told me that this is on porn sites. I don't know if this is actually true because I'm clean living. But is a share button.
Yeah.
Who
Oh yeah.
in the fuck is going to
What's
go?
that about?
What?
A share, but
Yeah,
There
like
is
share
actually
buttons.
a
Like you
share
can
button,
share the
like
link.
on any other website, like on Facebook, on Spotify. Oh, I'm listening to. I'm
What?
watching this.
Yeah.
On porn sites,
Yeah.
there's a share button. So,
Like I don't know. I just heard. I'm just nodding to it like from him.
isn't
you
that?
guys know about this though.
No. What?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
It's just like on.
Like there's
Like
a share
sharing a
button.
link, like a
Sharing a
link.
link.
Sharing a link.
But it's your own porn that you're sharing, is it?
No, it's
No.
just it's a public porn site, and
Right.
they have a share button, as if you are then going to share, like, oh,
On
I'm,
Facebook or
I'm
something.
watching midget donkey tranny porn or something like that, and then it's
What are
just
you
like,
watching? I haven't been on
and
that
then and
site.
you're kind of like, hey, imagine sharing that, and you're like, hey guys, what's up?
Joy.
Check this clip out, you know, just chilling. Yeah, why would you have a share button? Who does that?
I think we got really
I
deep,
didn't
really dark there.
Oh yeah. So now that's from sensible
That's right.
from sensible
Very
conversation.
sensible to.
Yeah. Then we even came across
Okay, we
e-commerce
moved
and
from, like,
everything, but
furniture
then then we just went to really
I think the couch brought it down, sitting naked on the couch. I think that's.
yeah, David,
That's-
that was you.
that's the
that's
title
all
you're
you.
gonna-
Guys, I never actually bought a couch, so I'm just like thinking about this.
So
Like,
you sat
it's
naked
like,
on loads of other people's couches then.
yeah, I mean, like
Yep.
my parents' couch. I helped them
I
pick
could
it.
see
I
that.
helped them pick it up. You know, so-
Sitting there.
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, that
Cool.
was good, nice and chill, and we will meet again sooner, hopefully,
Enjoy
rather
your
than
honeymoon.
later. Thank you
Pick
very
up
much.
as much info as possible.
I will. I am going to be eagle-eyed now, and I also am going to pretty much record everything consistently all the time, if I can.
You can bring Nancy with you.
Oh,
Nancy.
I heard Nazi. I'm
No.
like, why
No,
would he bring
Nancy.
Nazis with
who's
him?
Nancy?
Nancy, you remember you used to have your little recorder, Nancy?
Oh yeah, my secretary that doesn't exist.
You
It's
used
true,
to
actually,
record
yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, for a project or whatever, we went to for a marketing project, I think it was, or
Yeah.
something tourism project, and then we had to go around. But we were
It's
We were
non-existent
actually
secretary.
audio interviewing people, so that's why. But then I kept making notes as well. It's like, Nancy, make sure that the coffee is ready when I get back to the office. So by the time we were transcribing all this shit, it was like, what the fuck was I talking about?
Why did you call? Did you have to call it Nancy?
I don't know. It just
It's
popped
just the
into
name.
my
It's
head.
just the name we gave her.
Oh, you called it
I called it
Nancy.
into a little recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
the dictaphone thing you had, wasn't it?
Yeah. So no reason for that.
But you're gonna have to. I'm dying to see a lot of the stuff when you go to Vegas.
We'll see, and I think I am considering buying a burner phone or a burner at least SIM card or something like that for the 7 days that I'm there. So at least then I get to use internet maybe, and maybe stream some live stuff, commentary or whatever.
Oh,
Maybe
okay, yeah.
because I know the States isn't that good with Wi-Fi. As far as I know, it's
I was buying like the data roaming all the time
on.
from Meteor.
Oh, that's expensive, man. That's international roaming, no?
Because I wanted to buy Leica mobile,
Yeah.
but it was like
Where's this going?
like
Like a mobile. You know?
like a mobile SIM card. the guy goes like, and the guy told me like something
Yeah.
ridiculous, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for this. So I just kept it. I paid like 60.
But
60
can't you buy, what I used to do was, can't you just buy like a Verizon SIM card,
SIM card, that's
over
what I'm
there
thinking
and
of
use
doing.
it in your phone
I
over
have
there?
I have an unlock code on my for my phone anyway. It's
just get
region free,
Verizon or
and $10,
whatever.
$15 or whatever, and
Yeah.
then that means I can walk around and
Yeah.
do
Or
dumb shit.
take your SIM card, rub it against your Lycra, and just put it in the phone, and it might work.
Reset it.
Yes.
Like we're mobile. So there you go. So yeah, that's what I want to do, so that I'm more interactive, because like I said, I don't want to be killed with bills, after.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, the trifecta of excellence. Thank you again for listening in and being subject to very, very dirty rude talk. And come off your couches, sign in, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit us up on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on every social media device ever, because Kat will now be looking after it, and she might even answer you if you're good. And all you need to do to
Listen,
find
I'd
us...
love to hear everybody's, anybody's sort of
Opinion on it.
stories and opinions
Yeah.
and stuff too. So you can give us an old Snapchat back or an old tweet back as well, because I'd love to hear from everybody out there.
So there you go. So you won't just be talking to David and myself, you'll actually be talking to Kat too. And, as I said, all you need to do is look for the words Random Urban Memories or Rumboys, and you're going to find us there and then. Anything else to add?
No, enjoy your
Yeah,
honeymoon.
thank
Have
you.
a great time, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. I've had a great time, so thank you.
Well, Kat and David actually just met now for the first time, just so you know. That's interesting as well.
Which is cool.
This is
Yeah.
Right. We love
Cool.
ya.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace out.
You managed to listen to the Rum Boys talk on Random Urban Memories. Just like and subscribe where you can on all platforms.